hope you're well. Welcome to today's video, which is 6 well-being tips for when life feels a little bit too much. When can that be? That can be when you are overwhelmed, that can be when you're stressed, that can be when you're having an argument or you're angry. It could be when you have issues with your family or grief or work. There's all sorts of times when life can get a little bit too much, and I hope that I can give you a few tips and tools to help you out and to help you manage those times when life feels a little bit like that. I think I'm pretty qualified to tell people about these tips. They're what I use when I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed, and I have what I would consider to be not a stressful life, but a busy life, so therefore things can get overwhelming. I've been through a lot of grief in my life, and currently, which is what led me to do this video, is that we've got some family stuff happening, so it's adding to my burden, to my mental burden, and I found that I need to do some of these tips, and I thought I would share them with you. So tip number 1 is to use lavender essential oil. I'm sure most people have heard that it helps with sleep, it helps with relaxation, and it helps to calm the mind. It calms your nervous system a little bit. So this is something that I have used lavender oil for many different reasons. I used it really regularly when my dad passed away. So I've been through a lot of grief previous to that, so I know that you sometimes need to think about taking care of yourself a little bit, because especially if you're organising funerals and doing stuff like that, you need to step away and care for yourself a little bit. So I started to put a couple of drops of essential oils, lavender essential oils, onto a tissue, breathe it in just before I'm going to sleep, and pop it under my pillow. That used to sort of calm my nervous system, make me feel a little bit calm. Just the action of taking care of yourself shows you that you are looking out for yourself. So I think that also helped. I don't have trouble sleeping, so I'm really lucky in that respect. But I do feel like when I was using the lavender oil, it was, whether it was the action I was taking or whether it was the actual oil, it was definitely making me feel calmer and feel like I was looking after myself. Number 2 is to practice some positive self-talk. So telling yourself that it's okay to feel worried, telling yourself that it's okay to feel overwhelmed, not telling yourself that you're an idiot or that you should have done this or that you should have done that. Just stop and think, am I speaking to myself in a way that I would speak to my best friend? If my best friend was feeling like this, what would I be saying? If someone I loved was feeling like this, what would I be saying? Change your inner narrative. Yeah, it's fine to be overwhelmed, it's fine to be angry, it's fine to be all of these things. And be understanding with yourself. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Which leads me on to my next one, which is forgive yourself. So you can often, when you're overwhelmed or stressed, you can feel like you're not good enough, that you've done something wrong. It could be that you've upset someone, and that makes you feel bad, it makes you feel guilty. But even just telling yourself, look, Ruth, I forgive you. You recognise that you did something wrong. You said sorry. It's okay not to be perfect. Just tell yourself that you forgive yourself for being so hard on yourself, or for being a bit mean, or for being angry, or whatever. Recognise your feelings. Stop with the negative monologue. Bring around a positive place of forgiveness and love is where you want to be in your mind, because continual, oh, you should have got that done, oh, you should have done this, oh, this could have happened, that could have happened, that's no good for your That's no good for you. It's not good for anyone. You wouldn't do that to your friend, so don't do that to yourself. Leading on to my fourth tip is intentionally step away. We can be in situations, for example, I work with a lot of different projects, so it can get really overwhelming. There can be quite a lot of stuff, and at the moment, because there's stuff going on in the family home and I work at home, everything is in this space. So with me being in this space, working in this space, caring for my family in this space, doing everything pretty much in this space, it can be really, really, really overwhelming and far too much. So intentionally step away. Whether it's all going on in your head or whether it's all going on physically around you, take that intentional step away from the situation. If it's all going on around you, physically move out of the room, physically move somewhere else in the room. Those physical actions create a break in your mind, which then makes you pause to be able to handle the situation differently. If it's all going on in your mind, step away mentally. If it's too much work, like for example, all the projects that I've got going on in work at the moment, they can be too much. There can be so many different things that my head feels like it's going to go poof and explode, and the top's going to come off, and there's going to be smoke coming out my ears and all of that kind of stuff. So just breathe deeply, take in a deep breath and breathe out a long breath. Breathe into your belly. Maybe just shrug your shoulders up and release them down, or even just do the washing up, hoover, do any chore that's unrelated to what is going on in your mind or in your physical reality. Taking that step away just gives you, your brain and your body, the chance to think differently. Okay, so stepping away takes me on to my next tip, which is move. Quite an obvious one, and I don't suggest, unless you're a regular exerciser, I don't suggest going for a run or going to the gym or lifting weights or anything like that all of a sudden just because you feel a bit stressed. But I do really, really think that moving, I know that moving is physically really, really good for you. You move your blood and you move your lymph and your muscles contract, and that helps to pump more blood through your body. Then it will get it'll supply your brain with more blood. It just is good for you. Take my word for it. You don't need to. You probably already know. It's really good for you, but you don't have to go and do exercise. You can go for a walk. You could jump up and down on the spot for a few minutes. You could shake your legs and your arms around. You could dance. So again, that refocuses your mind. It can take you it can step you away from the situation, and it really does refresh your body and your mind just for a few minutes, just for a couple of minutes, or longer if you can. But moving really, really does work. And my sixth tip, make a massive list. Don't keep it all in your head. You might be more organised than me and you don't have it all in your head. Anyway, it might all be nicely and neatly in your Trello or in your any other productivity thing you use. But my life moves so fast. I do write lots of lists, but it's all in my head. So when I get that overwhelming sense of too much and I don't know which step to take next, I write a massive list. I just write on paper in a notepad. It's probably makes sense to write it on a laptop or your phone, because then if you want to organise that list, you can do it a lot easier than if it's on paper. But I tend not to, even at that stage, even organise the list. I don't even get everything that I need to do down on my list, but just writing down those things that pop into your head that you need to do helps you to figure out what the most important things are. It helps you to see, right, that is the thing I need to do right now. that thing that's been floating around in my head and was stressing me out and was nagging me in my ear, that doesn't need to be done till tomorrow, so I don't need to worry about that right now. So it just really helps to, it's like a bit of a brainstorm, but in list form. So you just go, nah, there is all the things that are in my head. Which one's the most important? Which one do I need to do now? And which ones are just taking up space in my head, but I don't actually need to think of yet. I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. So I'm going to give you a bonus tip for when life is a little bit too much. And you possibly aren't practicing enough self-care, enough self-love, but this one sounds a bit weird. But again, I did this when I've done this when I've been grieving, and I do it sometimes just anyway, just to let myself know that I love myself. And that is, give yourself a big hug. Possibly don't do it in Tesco's when everything is going crazy and the kids are screaming. I tend to do it at night. So perhaps have your lavender tissue, sniff that, pop it under your pillow. Tell yourself that your bed is cosy and comfortable and that you're going to have a brilliant night's sleep, even if your bed isn't cosy and comfortable. My bed isn't always cosy and comfortable, and I tell myself that it is. I just try and brainwash myself as I go to sleep. Do that. Give yourself a massive hug. You probably don't want to fall asleep like it because it's a bit uncomfortable. It sends a message to say that you love yourself, that you care, and you are there for yourself, which is all anyone really needs, because we are often, when we're overwhelmed, when we're sad, when we're angry, we are often feeling a little bit lonely, and giving yourself that hug lets you know that you're there for yourself. Thank you very much for listening to my tips. Go away, grab a cup of tea, talk to yourself nicely, give yourself a hug, and I hope to see you next time. If you've liked this video, please do like and subscribe. I'm Ruth. See you later. Bye.